What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kramer, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 new properties that I just bought and give you the full behind-the-scenes look. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so as I mentioned, I just bought 3 properties from one owner, and I want to give you guys the full details, the full analysis of the deal, so you can kind of see how these things work. And just for some quick backstory, these 3 properties, I actually co-hosted for this owner for 4 years. So he was completely passive. I was running the day-to-day, and I've been doing this again for 4 years for the same owner. And he came to me and said, "Hey, Bailey, are you interested in buying the 3 properties? Because I'm interested in selling." And I said, "Absolutely." We came to terms on price. And just yesterday, from when I'm recording this, I officially closed on those 3 properties. And just another detail before I show you the numbers, these are midterm rentals. So they're furnished properties. They're rented out for usually 3 to 6 months at a time. And they've been performing really well over the past 4 years and already have renters in place right now. So I am very optimistic and hopeful for the future. Okay, so let's start by walking you through the numbers of the deal. This is on my midterm rental deal analyzer. If you guys want to grab this, you can do so down below. Okay, so starting here on the left-hand side, we have the acquisition information. So I bought this property for $345,000, and I had to put 25% down. Now, the one really interesting thing to note on this, and kind of a pro tip, if you will, is I actually included a $10,000 seller credit. So let me actually show you on the settlement statement what this actually means. So as you can see right here, the sale price is $345,000, but then you can see if you scroll down right here, you'll see closing credit lowers the amount that I have to bring to closing by $10,000. I can go into way more detail in another video, but in short, it essentially deleted all my closing costs, or shall I say covered most of my closing costs. So I didn't have to pay all these extra fees. That seller credit really handled it. Okay, so down payment 25%, interest rate on the loan was 6.75% with a 30-year amortization. Again, I put the closing costs at only 1% because that $10,000 seller credit pretty much covered most of it. Now, while we're on this loan information, I want to just go over quick to show you guys the actual loan quote I got. And this actually is what it ended up being because I got this finalized / revised loan quote the day before closing. So as you can see here, there's 3 properties under one loan, which is called a portfolio loan. It's a 30-year term, amortized over 30 years. And I have a 3-2-1 prepayment penalty, meaning if I sell this property in the next 365 days, I have to pay a 3% fee of the loan amount. So if the loan amount, you can see, is $258,000, if I sell it in the next year, I have to pay 3% of that as a fee for selling the property early. If I do it in the next 2 years, after the first year, it's a 2% fee. If I sell it in the 3rd year, I have to pay 1% fee. And then after that, I can sell it or refinance it or do whatever I want for no fee. And that's pretty common for DSCR loans. So that's that. The monthly payment, so principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and there's no association fee. So it's going to be $26.37 per month. Like I showed you before, my loan to value is 75%. Loan amount ended up being $258,000. The appraised value, so this is huge. I mentioned that my purchase price was $345,000, although I got a $10,000 seller credit. But yeah, $345,000 was the purchase price, but it appraised for $376,000, which I also thought was on the lower end. But hey, that's kind of cool. I have $30,000 of built-in equity from day one. I told you my interest rate before, 6.75%. Origination fee, these are just fees paid to the lender. Interest reserve, so didn't have any requirements there. And I did have to have a escrow for taxes and insurance, meaning I had to prepay taxes and insurance into an account. And that just gives the lender more protection, some servicing fees and all that good stuff. Okay. So my total cash invested was $88,000. And I also I want to cross-reference all these things so you guys can see it. So this is the settlement statement. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see due from buyer, $88,000. I'm not just making up these numbers. These are coming straight from the settlement statement. Okay. So $88,000 into the deal. Now let's talk about projected revenue. Okay. So this calculator, I initially built it for short-term rentals. So as in midterm rentals, we kind of do like monthly pricing, not just like average daily rate, but I did fit it so that it actually reflected the numbers that we're earning today. So average daily rate across all 3 properties is a total of $315 per night. Estimated occupancy rate, 80%. And that means the projected annual revenue is $91,000, meaning the projected monthly revenue is $7,600. Or in other words, each property is averaging $2,500 per month in rent. I can tell you that that is on the very safe side. Having ran these properties for 4 years, that we have done that consistently and have had months that were $3,000 per month per unit. We've had months even higher than that. So I am being extra safe and conservative with my numbers here. So just wanted to point that out. Okay, so we talked about revenue. Now let's talk about expenses. These numbers that I'm pulling from are straight from the settlement statement and all the numbers that I actually pay. So these are not guesses. These are like the hard numbers. So taxes, $358 a month. Insurance, $548 a month. This includes 2 flood insurance policies because 2 of the properties are in flood plains. Water, gas, and electric. Okay, these 3 are estimates based on my other properties that are in the same area, what I think they're going to be. But hey, these could change slightly, although I have other properties very close to this one, so pretty confident here. Wi-Fi, this is a hard exact number. I have 3 different Wi-Fi. I don't provide TV service, so this is from Spectrum Internet, which is the main provider in our area. Repairs and maintenance, I put 5%, so $383 per month. These properties are already renovated, but of course things do pop up and I have really good handymen in the area. So hey, this is what I put for my repairs and maintenance. Supplies, I put $50 a month. This is just a reserve essentially for when I need to get new sheets or new pillows or new furniture of sorts. Pest control, $50 a month. Again, this is a tad bit high even for each property because I don't pay it monthly. And I have a really good pest control service that's very cost effective, but I like to have this reserve just in case. Trash removal, this is almost precise. One of the properties gets free trash service through the city. I just pay it through my taxes and other utilities. But 2 of the properties I do have to pay a third-party company, and they are $69 every 3 months. And I do that for 2 properties. So it's roughly, I think, $550 a month, but I rounded up. Technology. So this is for the different technology tools that I use, from Hospitable to Price Labs to Furnish Finder. Again, this is on the high end, but I like to be conservative with my numbers. Lawn care. Same thing. I have been paying the lawn bill, or I've seen the lawn bill for the past 4 years. And I also use the same lawn care for my own properties. So I know what the lawn care is on average. Summertime, it's a little bit higher because that's when the grass is growing like crazy. Wintertime, it dials back. So this is just an average number. Airbnb fee, I just put 0 here because the numbers that I put in the projections or in our actual revenue is after the Airbnb fee. So I didn't include that. Plus, we do a lot of bookings outside of Airbnb. So that's that. Management fee, I put 0 for now because I self-manage it. Sure, you can make the argument that I'm going to hire somebody, aka like a virtual assistant in the future to run it. So I could put something in there. But for now, I'm not going to because for the next year, I'm not going to have anybody. So that's going to be all me. So now that we've ran through those expenses, they total $2,700 per month, which brings our net operating income to about $5,000 per month. I also threw on a CapEx reserve. This is basically just a fund for larger ticket items, AC, hot water, heater, roof, etc. So that's about $230 a month. And then of course our mortgage, which is just the principal and interest in this scenario, for $1,600 per month. So now let's talk about cash flow. So monthly revenue is, like I mentioned before, $7,600 per month. I know that this is on the low end. I mentioned I've been running these properties for years. Monthly expenses is $4,600. This is spot on, if not a little bit high. Again, just based on the real numbers. But anyways, the monthly cash flow is $3,000 per month. Yearly cash flow, $36,000 per year. Now, our metric, this is the good stuff here, shows our cash on cash return is 41%. Okay. That's before tax benefits. That's before principal pay down. That is strictly the cash on cash return. Now, how is this calculated? Let me actually zoom out and show you. So it's taking the yearly cash flow of $36,000 and dividing it by the total cash invested of $88,000 and spitting out a 41% return. Cap rate, this isn't really used much in the single family world, so we're going to skip that. Debt service coverage ratio, 2.95, which is extremely high, which is good. And which means my payback period, according to these numbers, will be 2.43 years, which is unbelievable. Now, of course, I can tweak the numbers and say, you know what if we change this to $8,000 per month in revenue instead of $7,600 per month? That would boost the cash and cash return to 47% and lower the payback period and just boost all the numbers. If I even went crazier and said 90%, it's going to be even higher. But I'm going to move this back to our conservative amount because I know this is 100% achievable. And of course, now I have to run these properties and perform. So I hope that gave you guys a transparent look at my newest 3 property portfolio acquisition. If you have questions or want me to go deeper into any aspects, please let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.